If you've learned the skills for analytics and data science, how do you actually get a job in this field? I feel like this is a really complex question. Getting a job means two things. Number one, getting interviews, and then number two, performing well in the interviews so that you get an offer. And so number one, your first focus should be on getting interviews. So assuming that you have all of the skills and qualifications that are listed in the job descriptions of the jobs you're going for, you want to make sure that your resume really reflects that you are the best possible candidate for the role. And think of your resume as a marketing tool that the recruiter looks at and wants to just be able to check boxes of what they're looking for. If you have what they're looking for, they want to talk to you. So making sure that your experience is worded similarly to how they are talking about what they're looking for this job. And then other things you can do to improve your chances are making sure you have an optimized LinkedIn profile so that recruiters can find you. And then also networking so that you can increase your chances of getting genuine job referrals. Additionally, diversifying where you are finding job opportunities. So of course, there's sites like LinkedIn, Indeed. I really like Ada.com. There's also Wellfound. There's tons of other resources, but Slack communities are another really good place to find jobs that maybe fly under the radar and don't get as many applications. So I actually have a list of Slack communities linked in my blog. Then once you're getting the interviews, you need to perform really well to make sure that you're getting offers. Now, this can get extremely complex because analytics and data science interviews, there's so much variation across the board, but it really boils down to a few specific things. So number one, the technical aptitude. You're probably going to have to do a coding challenge of some kind. And then other times they might ask you questions around like statistics, probability, math, machine learning, etc. So making sure that you are really on top of those things is important. Lots of folks, when they're in the thick of interviewing, will do regular practice of SQL. I really like the website StrataScratch for this purpose. Then there's also the case study questions. So these are hypothetical situations that they want to see how would you approach this on the job and how would you solve this problem. These have so much variation and they're incredibly challenging. And so you have to do some research on the industry or the company and think about what kind of problems do they solve? What are the common metrics they use? Look for frameworks. I actually have a blog post on frameworks for how to answer these types of questions. And then there's the behavioral questions. So these are going to be both behavioral in terms of your experience that is relevant to the job and asking how you've solved similar problems to what you'll do on this job. And so practicing how you talk about your experience and which examples from your experience are the most impactful that you want to talk about. And there's also kind of the more behavioral questions that might be aligned to like the company values. You can usually find these listed on their website, but then thinking about how can I talk about my experience in a way that reflects that I have similar values as well in my approach to my work. So like I said, preparing for interviews can take a lot of work and there is just so much you can do to prepare, but let me know what questions you have in the comments.